Ayo, what's up, guys? Today we are gonna be doing something a little different. I'm gonna be talking about top 5 times that I almost died or got seriously injured. And the first one I'm gonna be actually the first two I'm gonna be talking about are two car crashes that I almost got into. I didn't get into them. It's kind of stupid, but I didn't get into a car crash, but we almost did, and these two, if it would have both happened, I would more than likely be seriously injured or dead. Alright, the first one is I was on my way to my aunt's boyfriend's kid's birthday party, and me and my dad are just casually driving to their house. They live north of us, probably a half-hour drive, and it's all live in Wisconsin. It's all farmland, and everywhere you go, you see like farms and stuff. And this specific place, it had trees going up the driveway. So I don't know if this guy was just not paying attention or what, but he was driving it was a grain truck, and it's basically the size of a dump truck, and he was backing out of the driveway, and he just kept backing up. He didn't stop at the end of the driveway, and he backed out right in front of me and my dad. Me and him are going down the road like this, and this grain truck was backing out of a driveway, and we literally got like within feet or inches of him. My dad slams on the brakes. The guy's like, "Oh, sorry," and he waves to us, and me and my dad are just shaking our heads at him like, "Dude, really?" And me and my dad had to swerve. We almost swerved off the road. He turned and he had to get into the other lane and go around the grain truck. And that was quite the scare for me and my dad, because we both thought we were gonna nail the side of that truck so hard. And the thing was, we were probably doing 50, and that would have been bad. Alright, the second time is another car accident. I was in town about half hour from, 15 minutes from my house, and we were driving my old farm truck. It's a 94 Chevy Silverado. We were going down, and there was a overpass or whatever you call that, and it was a highway too, and it was a highway that went over another highway. So me and my dad were on this highway, and there was a highway that went over top. So there was a semi truck that came off the off ramp, and it stopped, but we don't know if it didn't see me and my dad or what. And it just pulled out in front of us, and me and my dad were like in front of the semi, and we thought maybe the guy like thought he was gonna make it past like behind us or something. So he started going, and if he would have kept going, he would have T-boned me and my dad, and our back end of the truck probably would have went spinning in circles. But the guy luckily hit the brakes, and he knew that he wasn't gonna make it. He clearly felt bad that he just pulled out in front of me and my dad. Alright, third time is I got two for when I was at work. So I got two car crashes too from work. The first one, I damn near died. Like, this one was bad. And this was like a month ago. So me and the guy, my co-worker, we were in the barn. We were getting cows into the barn, because it's a dairy farm, and we were bringing them in. And on dairy farms, you typically have, mine is a smaller one, so you have 1 to 2 bulls. We had one at the time because the second one had died for a reason. And this one we had kept. We don't know what got into this bull, but he was absolutely crazy. Like, he was bucking and crap, and so I got there. My coworker got there at around 2:45. I didn't get there till 3. And see, I walk out into the barn to go help him get the rest of the cows in, and he is standing. Okay, there's a feed bunk, and there's a south side and a north side to it. My coworker was standing on the north side, and the bull was standing on the south side. And this bull was just bucking and like ramming against the bunk and the walls in the barn, and he was just going ape. And once I got out there, Sean, my coworker, he was just like being all nice to it and petting it. That is the last thing you want to do with a bull. You don't want to pet a bull. You don't want to make it your friend. You want to be the boss of it. It's almost like a dog, but you want to be nice to a dog still. But like with a bull, you want to be mean and tell it that it's your boss. And he's petting its head, and because it was eating out of the bunk, and he kept petting its head and like being all nice, like, oh, such a good boy, talking to it. I walked up to it, smacked it in the nose, and it got all mad, and then it ran away. And I'm like, you don't like be nice to them. And there was cows out on pasture, and that's like where the cows. I hope you know what a pasture is, but that's where cows go outside and they graze the fields. And let's just say it was muddy as all heck outside, and the bull was outside, and me and my coworker were getting cows, and the bull was out there. So I told my coworker to stay in the barn and not come outside, because if that bull cracked at one point, he would come after someone near him. And he was just freaking out, and there was one cow still out on pasture that we needed to grab, and the bull was not letting me move from where I was. There was one, it was about a foot tall spot, and it was all dry, and it wasn't all muddy, and I was standing on that, and the bull was just going absolutely crazy, and I could not get that freaking cow in. And at one point, the bull snapped and started running at me. And I was fortunate enough that there was a part of the fence, it was an electric fence that was broken, so that I could crawl underneath it. Well, wasn't broken, but it was higher. And I straight up like army dove. It was probably like 10 to 20 feet from where I was standing. And I just army dove to it and crawled underneath it. And the bull was standing like 20 feet away from me from the fence. And it was crazy. If I wouldn't have done that, he would have bucked me. I would have went flying. That was probably the scariest moment working at that farm. Second one at the farm, fourth one to this whole thing, was I was 6 or 7, and my mom was working there too, and she still is, and we were getting cows in again, and we were by the bunks, as I told you in the last story, and there was a cow that was in heat, and it was all crazy. It was all messed up, and it just started going crazy. And me being 6 or 7, I'm like 4 foot, like 10 or so at the time, maybe not even that tall, and it starts like bucking around. I didn't think anything of it, and I'm just helping my mom. My mom was far away from me, and this cow picks me up with its head, and I'm holding on to its like top of its head, and it whips me, and I go probably 10 to 15 feet in the air, and I just land in the bunk. And if I would have hit the metal part of the bunk, I landed in all the cow's feed. But if I would have landed on that metal part, I would have bashed my face in and probably knocked myself out. If I hit it hard enough on a certain spot, I'd have been dead on spot. That was one of the other scariest things. And the thing was, after it bucked me in the air, it kept bucking at the bunk next to me, and it kept trying to get back at me, but I was so far away from it that it couldn't actually get to me. And then my mom came over, scared it away, and got me up, and I went home after that because it really hurt me. The last one is one that I actually had to go to the ER for. This one I can't help but laugh at. I was 4 or 5. I'm pretty sure I was 4 is what my parents told me. And in the same house is where it happened, and we had 2 Rottweilers at the time. And according my dad's story, and then I can tell you my mom's story. But my dad's story was both of them involved a radiator. And some of you watching, I've probably told you this story, but I was apparently playing with my Rottweiler, and I was running around in my living room, and the living room is carpet, but we had a carpet in there that like I played on and stuff when I was like really little, and they just left it in there for like a carpet area in the living room, like most living rooms have. And I guess I was running, and there was this like little chair in there, and it was on the carpet, and I guess I was running around the chair, and my foot somehow caught the carpet. This is my dad's story. And my foot caught the carpet, and I hit my head on the radiator, and I split my head open like right here, and I had to go to the ER. I got 5 stitches in my head, and I was bleeding like a lot. And well, I'm lucky enough that my dad was still standing there, that I guess he got me, and I guess I didn't get blood everywhere, and I'm guessing my mom grabbed like paper towel or something and put it on my head, and I guess I was bleeding like excessively. My mom's story, there was a radiator in the kitchen, and she said I was just walking or something, and I tripped and hit my head, and either way I hit my head on a radiator and it cut open. But the first story I heard was my dad's, and I think my dad's is right, but I can actually think camera quality would be good to me. I can show you the scar on my head. Yeah, it's right there. That right there is my scar from when I got stitches in my head. And me being 4, that little scar might be like nothing to me now because I'm 14 now. But when that happened, just imagine my head's probably like that big around. It was smaller then, and that scar was probably like that, like probably looked like that big on my head, but now it's like that big because my head grew since then. So then it was probably a freaking big slice on my head, but now that I grew out of the scar, but it's still there, but it looks small as heck. But well, that was the video. I was bored, and it's freaking quarantine. It's making me go crazy, and I realized that I need YouTube content, and I need to get this channel started and going again. And I was just bored, and I started this video at 12 o'clock in the morning. It is currently 1:10 in the morning right now, and I'm looking into, well, I've been talking to another story time in one video. I've been telling my mom, so we own this. Obviously, my mom owns this house, and we live on a farm and whatnot. And seeing how our farm is growing or whatever, about 7 years ago, my stepdad bought the second farm, and we were putting all the like calves like that are not on like milk anymore. We put those at that farm, and that's like all the heifers, and before they have their calves they stay there, and then they come back to the actual farm, and then they have their calves, and then they start milking. But there is a house that is whatever you call a like double house or whatever. It's not like one of the ones where it's on one floor and it's a double house that normally like elderly people live in because they don't need a big house or whatever. Um, but this one's actually a 2-story house. But this one has someone can live downstairs and someone can live upstairs. And my grandma lives downstairs right now, and nobody's living upstairs for a little while. And I guess one of my mom's friends are moving in up there. But um, if he moves out at some point, which I think he will, because he's 40, I don't think he's gonna live in the same place for that long. That's off rent. I'm guessing at some point he's gonna get his own house and whatnot. So when I get to the age I want to move out and move in there, and I can. It's a 3-bedroom, which I don't need, so I'm having one of my buddies, if he can, move in with me as my roommate. And I want 2 bedrooms because I want a YouTube room, like that, so I can start a legitimate YouTube channel. And I want my good bedroom, and he would get the master bedroom then. And I want to that's where my content will start getting better, where I can have my own house, my own yard, like when I have my own like amounts of money where I can go buy 4-wheelers and get like content for that and get my first vehicle. I can make content off that, like making it, like decking it out and whatnot. And so I want to move in there and we can get some good content there. But for now, I'll be signing off. I still need an outro, but for coming this far, you've been watching for the past 17 minutes, just subscribe and like. Take another half second of your day to hit that subscribe and that like button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.